Ryan Mitchell straightened his tie for the third time, staring at his reflection in the restaurant's ornate mirror. At 37, he'd mastered board meetings and billion-dollar deals. But this terrified him. A blind date. His business partner had insisted, claiming Ryan needed to rejoin the human race after 3 years of single fatherhood consumed by work and his daughter. The restaurant was one of the city's finest. All warm lighting and quiet elegance. Perhaps too elegant. He'd chosen it to impress, but now it felt like showing off. "Daddy, you look nervous," came a small voice. Ryan glanced down at Emma, his 5-year-old daughter with blonde hair pulled into a neat bun. She clutched her stuffed puppy, Mr. Whiskers, and looked up at him with knowing eyes. Far too wise for her age. "I'm not nervous, sweetheart. You always touch your tie when you're nervous. You did it before my parent-teacher conference, too." He smiled despite himself. Emma was right. She was always right about these things. "Okay, maybe a little nervous. Meeting new people can be scary. Then why are we doing it?" Good question. Because his partner insisted he needed adult company beyond quarterly reports. Because Emma deserved to see him try to build a life beyond work. Because 3 years of loneliness was starting to hollow him out. Because sometimes the best things are a little scary at first, he said, taking her hand. They'd agreed Emma would join for the first meeting. Ryan refused to date anyone who wasn't willing to accept that he and his daughter were a package deal. If this woman couldn't handle a child being present, she wasn't for him. The hostess led them to a private corner table. Ryan had arrived deliberately early, wanting to be seated first. Control. He always needed control of situations. 10 minutes later, she walked in. Ryan's first thought was that she looked nothing like her profile photo. Not worse, just different, more real. The woman approaching their table had long blonde hair and wore a simple cream sweater with jeans and a tan coat. No designer labels, no expensive jewelry. Her smile was tentative, almost apologetic. "Ryan?" she asked. "I'm Hannah." He stood, suddenly conscious of the restaurant's opulence. "Hannah, please, sit down. This is my daughter, Emma." Hannah's face softened immediately as she looked at Emma. "Hello, Emma. Who's your friend?" "This is Mr. Whiskers. He's a puppy, but he doesn't bark much. A very well-behaved puppy," Hannah said seriously, settling into her chair. She glanced around the restaurant, and Ryan saw something flicker across her face. Discomfort? Intimidation? The waiter appeared instantly, presenting menus with flourishes. Hannah opened hers, and Ryan watched her eyes widen slightly at the prices. No entree under $60. What had he been thinking? "The duck is excellent here," Ryan offered. "Or the salmon." Hannah was quiet for a moment, studying the menu. Then she closed it and looked directly at him, her blue eyes surprisingly steady. "Can I be completely honest with you?" "Of course. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I make $32,000 a year. I live in a studio apartment and eat ramen twice a week to make rent." She gestured at the elegant surroundings. "This place probably costs what I spend on groceries in a month. My friend set this up and told me you were successful, but I didn't realize we'd be in different universes." Ryan felt his carefully constructed evening crumbling. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." "I'm not uncomfortable exactly. I'm just being realistic." Her smile was sad but genuine. "I'm honestly just here for a free meal. I haven't eaten anywhere nicer than Olive Garden in 2 years. So thank you for that. But let's not pretend this is going anywhere." The brutal honesty was like a splash of cold water, and somehow, it was the most refreshing thing Ryan had heard in years. Emma, who'd been listening intently, suddenly spoke up. "Do you really teach kindergarten?" Hannah turned to her, the sadness leaving her face. "I do. I have 18 students. They're all about your age. Do they like you?" "I hope so. I try really hard to make learning fun. Nature is nice too. But sometimes I get sad at school." Ryan's heart clenched. This was news to him. "Why do you get sad?" Hannah asked gently. "Because everyone has mommies who come to the parent things. I just have daddy, and he's always working." The words cut deep. Ryan had been so focused on providing, on building security, that he'd missed his daughter's pain. Hannah reached across the table, not quite touching Emma's hand, but close. You know what? Some of my best students have just one parent. And those parents love twice as hard to make up for it. I bet your daddy loves you more than anything in the whole world. He does, Emma agreed. But he's lonely. That's why we're here. He needs a friend. Out of the mouths of children. Ryan felt his throat tighten. Hannah looked at him. Then, really looked at him, and he saw recognition in her eyes. She saw past the expensive suit and the fancy restaurant. She saw the loneliness he tried to hide. Well, Hannah said softly. Maybe we're both a little lonely then. Something shifted. The pretense fell away. They ordered, and Ryan made sure Hannah got whatever she wanted without worrying about price. Over dinner, they talked. Really talked. Hannah told them about her students, about teaching children to read, about how she used her own money to buy supplies because the school budget never stretched far enough. She talked about her tiny apartment with the view of a brick wall, about her student loans, about dreaming of someday affording a car. Ryan found himself sharing things he never shared. About Emma's mother walking out when Emma was 6 months old, claiming she wasn't ready for motherhood. About the terror of single fatherhood. About building his tech company while raising a baby. How success felt empty when you had no one to share it with. Emma, finishing her child's meal, watched them talk with satisfaction. As dessert arrived, Hannah asked, "So what do you do exactly?" "Your profile just said, business owner in a software company. We develop platforms for healthcare systems." "That sounds important. It pays well. But watching you talk about your students, I'm not sure it's as important as what you do." Hannah laughed. "Teaching 5-year-olds to share and spell their names? Teaching children that learning is joyful, that someone cares about them, that they matter." Ryan paused. "That seems pretty important to me." Hannah's eyes grew bright. "Thank you for saying that." The evening wound down. Outside, Hannah refused Ryan's offer of a car service. "The bus is fine. I take it every day. At least let me walk you to the stop." They walked through the cool evening, Emma between them, holding both their hands. At the bus stop, Hannah turned to Ryan. "Thank you for tonight. Truly. For the meal, yes, but more for being real. For letting me be real too. Would you like to do this again?" Ryan asked. "Somewhere less pretentious. Maybe a place where we can just talk." Hannah smiled. "I'd like that. But fair warning, I'm still broke. Still living in my tiny apartment. Still teaching for basically minimum wage. That's not changing anytime soon. I'm still a workaholic single dad who doesn't know what he's doing," Ryan countered. "Still scared of messing up my daughter." "That's not changing either, Dad," Emma interrupted. "You should kiss her. That's what they do in movies." Both adults laughed, blushing. "Maybe on the second date," Hannah said, winking at Emma. Over the next months, they met regularly. Coffee shops, parks, Emma's school events. Hannah never asked Ryan for anything. Never expected expensive dates. She was happy with pizza and playground visits. Ryan found himself attending her classroom events, donating supplies anonymously. At first, then openly, when she discovered what he was doing. "You don't have to save me," Hannah said one afternoon. "I'm not trying to save you. I'm trying to support what you love." 1 year later, Ryan proposed in Hannah's classroom after school, Emma helping him set up drawings from all of Hannah's students, saying, "Marry our teacher's friend." Hannah cried. Saying yes, they married in a simple ceremony. Hannah insisted on keeping her teaching job, though Ryan's wealth meant she never had to work again. "These kids need me," she explained. "And I need them. This is who I am." Ryan understood. She taught him that value wasn't measured in bank accounts. That being rich meant having people to love, not things to own. Emma gained the mother she'd needed. Ryan gained the partner he'd never thought he'd find. And Hannah gained a family that valued her not for what she could become, but for who she already was. The woman who came for a free meal had given them something priceless, a home filled with authentic love. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of unexpected love. Comment below about a time honesty changed everything for you.